What's up, SE Nation? Welcome back to this series of daily episodes. And today's topic is what do you do when you're working with a new or weak salesperson? Now, I want to start this off by saying that if you're familiar with the bell curve, a lot of salespeople are good salespeople. There are a few who are great, and there are a few who are weak. So I want to say that most people that I've worked with, most salespeople that I have interacted with, are great salespeople or good salespeople. I've had one or two that sucked, but that's a different story, and that helped me in a way that I will be talking about right now. The fact of the matter is, in every team, no matter where you are, there are people who are good, people who are great, and people who are not carrying their weight. It happened to me in support, where a bunch of us had to take on more tickets to carry the weight of those who were weaker. It happened to me in network design, and it's happened as sales engineers between other sales engineers, and it's happened between sales engineer and account management teams. The issue with having a weaker or a new salesperson is that we as sales engineers are commission based. So if as a support engineer there was a weaker person, it wasn't really affecting me as much. If I took on more tickets, it just showed me in a good light. But as salespeople, as sales engineers, we're actually losing commission if the salesperson is not doing what they wanted to do or what they needed to do to actually make a sale. So what do we do as sales engineers? Well, I always found that as an opportunity. I found it as an opportunity to either up my game, learn new skills, and so what do we do as sales engineers? Well, I always found that as an opportunity to either learn a new skill or like to up my game, like show off my stuff basically. And I had in my previous job there was a new salesperson who joined the team, and we were paired together. And he came in from a different industry, a very good sales guy, but because he came in from a different industry, he did not have as much knowledge into how the process works or how to even qualify a call, because there are so many different technologies that we work with where he didn't know about. So he didn't even know how to ask a question like, hey, do you care about security testing? For example, it's a simple question. So I learned a lot from that, and I learned to cold call. I did a few cold calls. I learned to craft a script for a cold call, and it was good. Like I was actually invited to meetings that I had no point in being in. For example, one meeting I was invited to by my salesperson, not by the customer, because the customer just wanted to rant to the salesperson for half hour about, about how bad the product was. And keep in mind that the actual customer is not the user. There were other users. He was just like the guy who maintains the support contracts and all that. But he wanted to complain. He was the blocker for every deal. Like he would put in the purchase order. So my sales guy had to go and entertain him and just listen to what he had to say. And in my personality is I want to defend the product that I'm selling. Like I wouldn't sell a product that I thought would not do the job or was bad. There are little things here and there that you could tweak, but that's with every product. Not every product is perfect, and not every product will make everybody happy. But it will do the job. If I sold you a product, it will do the job. So it was very hard for me to sit there and listen, and I was always trying to defend the product by saying, oh, well, no, you're not doing it right. You're doing it like this. And I learned from my sales guy at that point, who actually grabbed me and held me back, is just let the customer rant. Like sometimes they just need to rant. He ranted for a half hour and then he was good after. So there are a lot of things that we can learn like that, even from a brand new salesperson, a weak salesperson. There's always things that you can learn. And I do want to point out that not all sales engineers are perfect. There are also weak sales engineers and strong sales engineers. For example, we have a lot of weaknesses in terms of, we always like to talk about our product and how they built it instead of what problems it would solve sometimes. What else? For me personally, as an introvert, when I first started, reaching out to customers just to say hi, to check in, was not really high on my priority list. Like I really had to work hard to get to that point. That was a weakness of mine that I had to work on. And since I was a new SE, I was weak in that aspect. Like the salesperson had to carry my weight in that. So it goes both ways. It's a symbiotic relationship. We cover for their weaknesses, they cover for ours. And if you're paired one-to-one, that's great. If you're paired one-to-many, then you guys will have to figure out a way to cover for each other. So, homework for today is think about what your salesperson is weak at. And this is not to berate them or to make them look bad. This is just for you to understand what their weaknesses are, and then try to figure out a way that you can actually help them. Not necessarily get better, but help them by carrying the weight of that weakness. And they'll probably do the same thing for you. And if you don't want to do that, and then maybe look in the mirror and figure out what you're weak in and what you can bring up to par. Not all sales engineers are champions in all aspects of sales engineering, but there is a minimum baseline that we have to be able to work at to be able to be good sales engineers at a minimum. So that's it for today. If you like this, make sure you share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel, I guess, and hit the notification button, all that stuff. Come back tomorrow for another episode. I'll see you guys later.